Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair. If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everyone. And I mean it this morning. I hope you are having a great morning. I am feeling really good. It has been a long time since I have been feeling this good. I was feeling absolutely terrible, especially yesterday. I was actually standing around yesterday afternoon, actually like a zombie. Like I didn't realize that the point when this has gotten to, and so I was feeling I got completely down to like zombie level walking around. And so I'm feeling much better today. I went, so yesterday, because I was like that, a friend of mine was also having some problems, having a really bad day yesterday. So yesterday, I just left early, went for an early, like happy hour. I guess it started happy hour. I was like, oh, let's go over there. But we stayed out basically, pretty late, later than I was originally expecting. Had a fantastic time last night. So it's been a while since I've done something like that. Did the so went out there, went to Avondale Brewing here in Birmingham. Sat there, had some beers. They've got one of those things set up that I got a picture of it. I should post that. Actually, I took a picture, so I should post to the Discord. But they have one of those setups where they've got the projector with the different kinds of games on it, like baseball, which we were very, very bad at. Baseball, archery, soccer, that kind of thing. Played that for a little while. I just had a great time, and so that was a much needed reset. I didn't realize, like, Java, okay, no, I got to sit here and I got to work, I got to do stuff. I had just how much of a slog that had absolutely been. And so I'm feeling much better now that that happened. Sometimes, yes, I forget that. I do forget that. Sometimes the answer is not just, hey, do more work. Like, oh, there's more work to be done. The answer is just sit down and do it, because eventually you just zombify yourself. So, by the way, so I do have a new camera. So you should be seeing a new camera. I did set that up a little while ago. So I set up a new camera here. And so this one should actually be better. I got tired of looking at the pixelation, and I was like, okay, so is it really the light here? Because I don't have extremely bright light, but I got a new camera set up finally. So this one should actually be coming in more clear. I didn't change the lighting. It's just a new camera that should actually see the light better. So even upgraded that. So I should be coming through even clearer now. So, hey, good morning, Better with Bacon. Good morning, Bacon. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, BGD. It's good to see you. Good morning. Welcome. Let's see. Titter Pig Rancher is here. Good morning, Titter Pig. I was thinking about, thank you. The Titter Pig Rancher says the cultist is so freaking funny. I'm having such a terrible time. Let's talk about that for just a second. I'm having just a terrible time advertising that. This is probably one of the great mistakes. You do something like the cultist and you can't advertise it. I'm going to talk here just in a little bit about TikTok and the shorts, because I did some experiments on that. And so one of the experiments that I did over the past couple of days or 3 days or whatever it was like, okay, well, maybe because I've got all the cultist stuff chopped up into the shorts format, the vertical shorts format, maybe it's time to go to TikTok with some of the cultists and see if some of those shorts get any kind of traction over there. 0 views. I loaded several cultists shorts up into a dedicated cultists TikTok account. 0 views, like actually 0 views. Like, and I was talking to Sydney, who we'll talk about here in a moment, but who's like the TikTok specialist. She was like, 0 views. You don't get 0 views on TikTok. Everybody gets at least 200 views while the algorithm figures out whether or not it's a good TikTok and who to show it to. And I was like, no, I get 0 views. So I said, now here it is. Look, here's my account. And here's the cultist account. And I've got like 6 TikToks from the cultists up on them. And they all have exactly 0 views. I mean, it showed it to no one. So even organically on TikTok, the cultists is verboten. You can't show people that. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Got to go with something else. Robert says, update, combat continues to be upgraded. I played with this the other day. Next step is to give the user optional control over all PCs and NPCs movements versus monsters, then graphics. When we get some graphics up, maybe we can try it again here on the morning grind. So I went through here and I did play in Robert's game. I got killed. I wanted to see, I kept fighting to see what would happen if it killed me. And I did eventually take me to -1 hit points, but I was fighting and it had a window that Robert's talking about open. Let's see what else is going on. Hey, Mike, good morning. Oh, Outcast Creative is here. Good morning. Good morning. Outcast Creator says, yo, Heath, hello from London. I played D&D back in the 1980s. Second edition rule set. This is what we're talking about. Stopped playing around 1990, mainly because the characters fell into the arms race thing. Well, that's the edition that we're talking about right here. Great to have you. Very, very good to have you this morning. Or it's not the morning for you, afternoon for you, I'm sure, over there in London. Hey, John, good morning. Let's see. Well, this camera is actually another iPad. Like the camera that I was using was an old iPad. We're going to get to talking about combat here in just a moment. The camera that I was using was my oldest iPad because and now I have the new iPad up here because I used the new iPad, but I was like, hey, maybe I just need to go ahead and get with the better camera. So I have an iPad taped to my monitor. It's not a sophisticated setup, but but there's an iPad taped to my monitor. That's an expensive way, I guess, to get a camera. But I'm going to move on to some other laptop for portable computing. So I stuck it to the side of the monitor here. Let's see. Arms race thing is every character has a 10+ sword. You know, I'm going to put something out about being in favor of the you are what you wear role playing, because I've been against that in the past, but I've been thinking about that in the context of the boys, because the alternative there is you know, why yes, I'm not generally, a lot of the fantasy that I listen to is not really about accumulating magic items. Like, you know, like the Lord of the Rings or something. But if you do, but I think that part of the having magic items is that it means that your character grows and advances as a consequence of the story that they've been in, as opposed to just sitting there with like a build tree that's in the book. And so, you know, oh, when I start this character, I know where they're going. So let's see what else to talk about. New camera, got that. Let's see. So I told you last time that I had met this woman who had been successful on TikTok and had bought a house through marketing fishing gear on TikTok. And so I said, hey, we need to sit down and have a talk. So so we were going to, yeah, actually I just saw this. Titterpig says magic items come about because everyone wants their own glamdring, right? Glamdring, Sting. I mean, there are some like that in The Hobbit, but you know, it's not like Aragorn is trading up magic sword, or even Gandalf is trading up magic swords. Oh, you are what you wear. Sounds like an aggressive campaign from the 90s. You are what you wear. Nike. That's something that could probably be done with AI. Anyway, so I went to, so I asked, this was on Monday. Yeah, Monday. This is Wednesday. On Monday, so I went to meet with her, and that's why I started the TikTok, the cultist TikTok, and was showing her. So we went out to a coffee shop and had a meeting for about an hour 15 minutes. Showed her the kinds of things I was trying to do, and so she gave me some pointers on shorts material and TikTok, and highly recommended the brand of Heath's Geekverse, which a lot of you guys talk about quite a bit. The Geekverse is a brand. Be the one that I put more effort into, especially since apparently I can't advertise the cultists directly, like anywhere, basically. That's, you know, that's like 80% true. That since I can't do that, I got to come up with some kind of other brand that would allow me to like indirectly market that kind of stuff. And so that's probably going to be the Geekverse. So she gave me some pointers on doing a TikTok here, and you may have seen this because I put this out on TikTok, I put it out on YouTube Shorts, and then I put it out on Instagram as well. So here's my first attempt at a dedicated like TikTok type video. I put out shorts before, but like with the like clips of table talk, because I'd actually put some stuff out on TikTok because they were clips of table talk, and of course the ones that are, you know, people want to talk about are the ones where we say something about Star Wars that people think is controversial. So here we go. But this is about the AD&D combat. So I decided, hey, you know, yeah, and with the Geekverse, I can think of 200 topics here to talk about in terms of role-playing games. So I set up the new camera for this. So here we go. All right. So you may have seen this already, but here is the TikTok. Here is Heath in TikTok mode. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Okay.
Everybody says AD&D combat is brutal, but they're wrong. I recently introduced my nephews to Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Yeah, the intensely satanic panic version, and I warned my nephews that it would be deadly.
How many hit points do you have left?
I asked after they got smashed in the face by a morning star. I was expecting 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4, but look at this. They started with 10 and 12 hit points each. Even the fighter wizard has 7, and what's more, with their Thaco, they had to roll 15 or better just to hit an AC 5 null. That's a 70% miss chance. So what happened in the very first round of battle that they ever played in an RPG? They all missed. Even the gnolls missed. Complete whiff. Nobody even bled. Where's the danger? If this game's gonna feel lethal, attack should matter, wounds should linger, and battles must feel brutal. Let me know in the comments how you make combat at your table as brutal as it should be.
So that was and that was fun to make. That was fun to make. So and it worked. It worked. Well, I know for a long time I was thinking that too. Like, how in the world? Like, this is early on. Like, how in the world does TikTok help in any? Because like doing the dance and shaking and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how that would have helped, but that did. So that was kind of structured according to Sydney's recommendation, and it was really nice that she was able to generalize some of her experience out of fishing gear. She was at the University of Alabama over here, like that their bass fishing team, the University of Alabama's bass fishing team, when she was in college, and then leveraged her experience on the bass fishing team to do fishing material on TikTok and then get clients to promote fishing gear. So it was good that she was able to, in that kind of area, an area that was generalizable. So that seemed to work. I mean, maybe it was too frantic. Maybe it was, but we'll see. That was just the first try. But that one did get 700 views on TikTok, which is more than 200. Like, the 200, like the test that she was talking about. So apparently it got tested enough to get 700 views. That's on the new Heath's Geekverse TikTok, 37 likes. And then I put it out. It didn't really do much on Instagram. I did rebrand my Instagram for that. But then also, actually YouTube really liked it. So you guys saw some of that. So YouTube actually liked it quite a bit. Let's see. It has gotten actually more comments on YouTube. 826 comments on YouTube, 31 likes, and 12 different comments, and there's some comments I have to reply to. So actually that worked. So that appears to have worked. So I'm going to try to continue to refine that kind of technique. And it may be that I need to make one of those like every day. Now that one wasn't necessarily, doesn't take you to the cultists. So I'm going to think about that. And that one also made me a little bit long. That was like 57 seconds long, but whatever. So that's kind of my new, the only way that I continue to be able to do things during the day is through hope. When you have something that, this might work. So there's some hope there. So yeah, Sydney is definitely knows what she was talking about on that. Oh, you've got a plug-in that removes them from the front page. Yeah, I think that like from the stats that when they're watched from people actually watching the shorts feed. But so that was a successful short. And in fact, that was like it told me that it was my most, after about 12 hours or something, it was my most successful video of the past 10 that I posted on the Geekverse. So people did like it. People did engage. People did comment. So there we go. So I may be putting more attention into Geekverse style shorts over the coming days and weeks. So we will see. All right, let's get into our main topic today. We do need to breathe and sip, as Titterpig reminds us. Everybody got your favorite beverage this morning? I've got mine. Let's breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths. 2 deep breaths. Complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. And sip. All right. There we go. All right. Let me take this down, get my notes up. When Titterpig was saying Titterpig was saying with the promotion of the shorts. Like I said, I think that in the very beginning, it was thought of as, hey, this could be a way to promote some of the longer, basically a trailer for your longer videos. But it turns out that doesn't work. People who watch the shorts don't really come back and watch the longer videos. All right, I got my notes up right here. So let's talk combat here. Let's see. So where we got to, I think, is the point that now I want to swap around the Thaco, because I think we were, or the way that we rolled to hit, because so we were talking about, as fun as it was to have the boys rolling, with a Thaco and rolling with the descending AC, and as nostalgic as that was, and as fun as it was, I think it's easier to go the other way. And this kind of goes back to more of the Fated Edge kind of way of doing things, because we were talking about a longsword with D8 damage is pretty random. Is that bad? Or we're talking about damage by class. But even if you're doing damage by class, is something like a D8 damage die too random? Would it be better and to have some kind of distribution to the damage roll? And actually, does it even matter at this, when you're only talking about a range of between, well, I might see as high as D12 damage if you're talking about including some kind of barbarian or something, potentially as high as D12 damage. But even that, but that's on the high end, like the extreme end, probably up to D10 damage. Does it matter if you're really doing some kind of distribution of damage rather than just a flat distribution? I guess a flat distribution is a distribution. So that's where we're talking about. But I want to say, okay, what if we swap back over to ascending AC? Hey, Ryan. Oh, well, thank you very much, Ryan. I hope you have a great day as well. Good day as well. Here's to you. Let's sip to Ryan. Swap back over to ascending AC. So this is a roll of some kind plus modifier. And this could be like what Robert was talking about. At the moment, let's not leave this a D20. I think we can do something else. I'm going to need to get some dice printed. But some kind of roll plus modifier plus roll plus modifier. And I had been thinking plus damage. Like, can we do this all at once? But when we first started this, I thought of two different issues here. Armor as damage reduction. And the third edition Unearthed Arcana has rules where not only do you have damage reduction, but you also have passive resistance, which is kind of a GURPS thing. And by the way, we did also, I noticed, have a lot of comments or a comment on the last stream that was very much about Dragon Age. And maybe we should look at that, because we got a more detailed comment about exactly what kind of initiative system Dragon Age has that uses cards. And it does seem like it addresses a lot of things that I was talking about. So I might end up having to pick up Dragon Age relatively soon. I remember it being like all over my feed and all in my inbox when it was released. So it was clearly a big thing, but I never got like a preview copy of it or anything like that. But I think about that right now also because we were told that Dragon Age does all damage as damage reduction, all armor as damage reduction. But let's see. So when we're talking about Unearthed Arcana over here. When we're talking about passive resistance and whoop. Oh, I hit my screen. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Let's see if we can find it. armor. Combat facing hex grid. Players roll all the dice. Oh, armor is damage reduction. Page 111. So this system is there for picking up. And so it has a system in here where like light armor, like padded armor gives an armor bonus of +1 and no damage reduction. And I was trying to remember how 3rd edition damage reduction works because it's like one armor reduction will look like one /dash. Leather armor gives an armor bonus of +1 and then a damage reduction of +1. Like, can you do this just through damage reduction? Because I was like, oh, this would be easy to import, but hey, could we just do this entirely through damage reduction and skip over a bonus to AC? Because we don't want to double dip armor. By armor making you more difficult to hit. And less likely to take damage. And after one of our shows when I was working with this, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to happen a lot. And this seems like it would be counter to a game design that if you're going to be a heavily armored character, then you shouldn't change how difficult it is to hit you. You should just be less likely to take damage. And then that way also allows you to build the opposite kind of character that you're like, no, I want to keep from getting hit. But if I do get hit, I'm going to be unarmored, and so I'm likely to take damage. So I think we go one or the other and just say armor is damage reduction. And then there was another point. Oh, especially if you're rolling for damage at the same time. This was it. Are rolling for damage at the same time. So let's say, for example, your attack is D20, not 120, D20 plus 2. So, I mean, not much of it. We got to change this modifier, but like D20 plus 2 for your attack modifier, plus you're rolling a D8 because you got a longsword or because that's your class damage or something like that. And then your to hit roll, your target number is something like 13 plus 2 because of armor. That's what I'm saying about it makes sense. Like, so it's 15 because it's 13 plus 2 because of armor. If you're including this damage roll here, maybe what I'm saying, maybe I'm not explaining this very well. If you're including this damage roll here in your attack, there we go. Maybe it's a little bit better for you to see. If you're including this damage roll in your attack, then it doesn't really matter whether or not your armor is making your target number more difficult to hit, or if it's actually reducing damage, because that's effectively the same thing. Because your damage roll is tied up in your attack roll, if that made sense. Titterpig Rancher says, I do like small, easy numbers. Having light armor subtract 1 damage, medium subtract 2, and heavy armor subtract 3 from any attack is simple and easy to remember. And it also means that even 1 damage matters. Well, and especially if we're trying to build this around 6 hit points of damage slays a normal man. The normal man is slain by 6 points of damage. It also allows you to be more descriptively creative with what your armor is, if it's light armor, medium armor, or heavy armor, something like that. Go heavy armor, light armor, light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, like super heavy armor or extra heavy armor. Oh, Outcast is talking about the Dragonlance campaigns, which I know nothing about Dragonlance. Well, I thought about that. We've thought about doing live stuff here. That time is an issue, but I would go back to some type of something on Friday nights, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. As far as all the modifiers to remember. So, but here's what I kind of realized here, and we'll adjust the D20 later. So let's see. So the enemy has a to hit score. So I think we do not need to roll damage at the same time. That would be nice to be able to do this, all the same. Enemy has a to hit score based on agility, dex, whatever you want to call it, and being armed. So in this system, excuse me, do you know what makes it harder to hit you? What makes it harder to hit you is your ability to dodge. Whether that's whatever ability score governs that. Your ability to dodge. So this is not active defense, by the way. Is your ability to dodge plus what you are armed with. And if you are carrying a shield, like let's build that. Let's build that into your to hit. Titterpig Rancher says there's also the idea that much armor renders you immune to certain types of damage. Even a Gambison can easily defeat a sword, for instance. However, a Beck de Corbin would go through plate. I think the whole idea of AC making you miss your attack is meant to simulate this aspect. It's not that you don't actually hit them, you just don't find a weak point to do actual damage. It could, yeah, I think that goes along also with our hit point problem. Like, what exactly does AC mean? And what exactly does it mean to have missed? What exactly to hit points? It's nebulous in both cases. So, I mean, we used to kind of play that, you have your AC that it would be whatever your character has when your armor is, if you were not wearing armor, and then what's your AC when you are wearing your armor. And so if the roll is someplace between those two scores, it means that they did make contact with you. It's just that your armor took all of the brunt of the hit. If it rolled lower, lower when we're talking about Thaco, or higher. I've confused myself. But if it rolled outside of that range, then probably you did actually dodge, or you took it on the shield and didn't actually contact you. So there is that. There's a way to overlay that onto the system. All right, weapon reach. All right, see you later, Outcast Creative. Great having you here. So yeah, like weapon reach. So weapon reach would be part of this, because I want to make the weapons have more stats than just damage, right? I mean, because that way, if we're talking about like if you are unarmed and unshielded, you should be easy to hit. And if you are unarmed, unshielded, and unaware, like being attacked from behind, you should be really easy to hit. And that was the situation with those orcs. At least that's what I'm thinking. That doesn't have anything to do with what kind of armor you're wearing, because even if you're wearing, Maximilian style plate, and you are unarmed, unshielded, and unaware of the attack, it should be really easy to hit you with a sword. And even if you are aware of the attack, like I don't see like the continuing with the trope that, oh, if you're wearing the plate, you're completely helpless as far as dodging. But if I've got an arming sword and somebody is unarmed and unshielded and all they're trying to do is dodge, I mean, that isn't easy. You're pretty easy to hit. You're really easy down here. Make that your to hit score. And this does allow weapons to have defense. So weapons have defensive values. And put the shields on this side too. Shields aren't your armor. Shields are actually stopping you from getting hit in a different way. And the weapons have defensive values because of their ability to parry, right? And shields have defensive values. That gives you your to hit. I really wish I could incorporate both the attack and damage in one, but I think it's got to come apart. That gives you your to hit. So I don't know how that works exactly at the moment, but at the moment, let's still go with the D20. So to hit, D20 plus modifier. To hit modifier. Now the fighter is going to be better at dealing damage. We'll just have to look at the modifier here. They're probably better to hit as well. Meets or exceeds to hit value. But then what you do is if you roll well here and you make a great strike, then I think you should inflict extra damage. Any amount, the difference between the to hit roll and the to hit value, I think, should increase damage. There, that tells you this keeps it from being just a binary, right? I mean, that a lot of the stuff in OSR we talked about being a bacon. Rogues do it from behind, Titterpig says. Wait, I hate dodge rolling iframes. Is this like Pathfinder crits? Snipe Shot McLovin says, love the name. So like Pathfinder crits, I'm not sure. Is that like a second edition Pathfinder? It's been a while since I've read that one. Here's to you, Snipe Shot. Let's sip to Snipe Shot. I think let's just go flat damage. If you're better at that way, okay, my point was that way you're not binary. Now that may mean, so we're going to have to balance the modifier for combat modifier plus what your damage die is. That's going to require, well, it's either going to require some simulating or we're going to have to go back to Chat GPT or something. Because you don't want that to double dip too much. That way you're not binary. And actually, see, I think ultimately, I think that can be removed by a single die, and that may be better. That way you're not binary on hit or miss, but a better roll means a better hit. More damage. The better you are at fighting, the more likely you are to land heavy damage. So then we'll see roll damage dice, perhaps by class. add to difference of attack, then subtract armor. Result is damage. Result is we'll probably need some type of word for this. Like GURPS uses base damage than injury to represent something that gets through, but result is subtracted first from stamina, if there is any, then goes to wounds. Track wounds individually. What do we think about that? Yeah, so Snipe Chat says, yeah, in second edition, crits are determined by a hit score of 10 above the AC. Oh, I do like that kind of system. That's also actually kind of GURPS like. If you're talking about critical hits, because I used to use that quite a bit. Because GURPS had, okay, critical hit is 10 above your target number, or some kind of critical failure is 10 below the target number, something like that. So that can be that too. So that's kind of a halfway point between having a sliding scale of, okay, the damage is changed by the amount that you roll versus just the roll of a 20. That's kind of a halfway point. So yeah, the PF2, every 10 that you beat or fail to TN means a critical hit or miss. Oh, okay. Yeah, so natural 20s you don't worry about. And I do like that. And like I said, that also is a GURPS thing. And I say I like that too. You can get into a situation where you're guaranteed critical because of your base stats. Which sounds like fun. Like at the fighter at some point when fighting the kobolds knows that he's going to be doing critical damage to the kobolds. Like, you're that good. John says, I like the idea of fewer HP accumulated as you level, and your skill with weapons and armor and ability to spend treasure on better equipment being a stronger motivation to adventure and level up. I'm thinking that, yes. Now we're gonna have to reconstruct these tables here to get both stamina, which I call vitality. I mean, the vitality I call stamina, and then some kind of wound thing here. Snipe Chat says, I've been wondering recently if having some kind of base attack you just do if there's an enemy near them, and then leaving action-based economy be used by special abilities or magic. That could be like a fighter type. Okay, so what if? Hey, let's see how much. Oh, we got time. So let's see. I see. Once again, I'm thinking that the D20 is going to be real swingy. So if we're talking about a Thaco or something, hey, where's I brought over my old school essentials book. Oh, it's sitting right here. Okay, this is advanced old school essentials. Let's look at what type of combat modifiers it uses for the different classes real quick. Is that saves class level by race? Character attack levels right here in the very front here. Okay, character. It has martial, semi-martial, and non-martial. Attack roll to hit AC. Oh, that's just the ascending ACs. Okay, well, let's go into the book a bit. I'd really rather have the base book at this point. Oh well. I got the advanced book in my hand. All right. Well, elf is here. Okay, so elf. Oh no, that's. Okay, fighter. Let's go to fighter. So here is our fighter class, which should be the same as in the basic book. It says that the fighter is supposed to have a Thaco 19 for the first 3 levels, which is a +0 if you're using ascending AC. It's Thaco 19 instead of Thaco 20. What was the, let's see, let's look at the mage or magic user. Does everybody just start at Thaco 19 in this? Magic user. Yeah, Thaco 19. So here, I mean, I'd prefer for the fighter to actually fight better right here. Instead of being, I guess Thaco 20 then are reserved for the 0 level characters or NPCs that might be Thaco 20. So maybe that's why all of our heroes or adventuring classes start at Thaco 19. I would still like to see the fighter actually being a better fighter than the other character classes, even at low levels. But that's a +0. +0 to hit. That's still extremely random. So Ryan says this surprisingly sounds very similar to DC-20 system, a new TT RPG system in development from Kickstarter. Has been ongoing for a while and it's developed quite a lot and it's gotten very popular. Really? Oh wait, is that the Dungeon Coach? You're talking about the Dungeon Coach? I've been following that a little bit. Is that his? I've been following that a little bit. I watched his videos on his action economy. And I thought that because at the time we were reading Pathfinder 2nd edition here on the channel, and I liked Pathfinder 2nd edition. I never got to play it, but I liked Pathfinder 2nd edition's action economy. And it seemed to me like the Dungeon Coach improved on it. Like I was like, oh, I'm totally down with this Pathfinder action economy. Might have to adopt it. But then he improved on it even further. It sounded like from his videos in an even better way. John says, this way, a dragon fire's overcoming your defenses is more difficult. And a high-level barbarian probably won't survive simply because they have excessive HP. Right. And that's like, you know, a dragon fire would be like an area attack. Now, that's kind of a special case. We're not, there's probably some different special kinds of things like area attack. Like, you know, how do you handle area attack? Like dragon fire. Your sword's defense probably isn't going to help you. You know, area type, maybe that has a different kind of term. We're talking about different squares or something like that. But, you know, so how do you handle that? But that's kind of like, I think we build out the kind of the base system first and then handle like, okay, now what happens if you're blasted by dragon fire? Add stamina and armor and subtract that from damage done. Save math step during play. So Michael's saying that add stamina and armor. So you're just saying like your armor should just give you more hit points. I'm pretty sure I've backed DC-20. And I see things from him. Actually, you know what? I have not seen him in my YouTube feed in a while. I'm still subscribed to him, right? I mean, I spend a lot of time in my subscribed feed. Let me check on that because I haven't watched a video of his in a while. Yeah, I'm subscribed. I'm not current with what he's doing. Well, okay, no, there's like best tabletop RPG for kids that he posted a month ago. Okay, so I guess I haven't missed too much. Say posting a video a month now or something. Okay, so yeah, I'm following that too. I think I should have backed that Kickstarter because I definitely want to take a look at that and cover this here on the channel when we get that. So this sounds very similar to a new DC-20 where they use the attack rolls, and for every 5 over the AC, you deal extra damage. I think that's supposed to be automatically with low numbers. Damage roll. So where were we? Okay. Wounds are tracked individually. So my point was, okay, we're about to hit the null problem again, this is my problem all the time. D20s are too random. If we're kind of building this from something like D20s essential, and we're talking about a fighter here, D20, that's D20 plus, he's supposed to be plus 0, is too random. Even if you say it's okay, it's gonna be plus 1. If if a Thaco 19 is going to be plus 1, kind of change up that a little bit. D20 plus 1 to hit isn't any better. D20 plus 1 to hit really isn't any better. So in this case, we're building up. So building it to hit. A to hit number. What if we start with something like 10 plus Dex modifier? So I guess we're gonna have some kind of modifier. This is Dex modifier, which something like the old school essentials doesn't have. I did kind of miss that when I was playing with my nephews. Oh, roll Dex. Oh, now I do like, okay, you know your number to roll under, but I was like, I couldn't tell them to add a modifier or something like that because it wasn't on their character sheets. Plus shield, plus weapon modifier. Like that's how you get your to hit, I'm thinking. So, if you've got, I don't know how those nulls are, but like 10 plus 2 plus, and this is calculated before battle. 2 plus, well, they were unshielded, but whatever. Then 2 plus 1, that would get you, a 15. And then you're right back in the same situation that we were when we were like, we got a 70% miss chance. If you got to roll, it doesn't matter how you have to roll the 15, whether you got to roll the 15 or above because you're doing the subtraction, or whether you're doing it because you're doing the ascending armor class. They just need to hit more often. Well, I figured that's probably the case. He's in the middle of trying to finish up this whole Kickstarter video, the Kickstarter thing. Dungeon Coach's videos have really dropped off because he's hyper-focused on finishing the game design. They created an additional subclass for every existing class just recently and getting the Chaos campaign, the Kickstarter campaign completed and produced. I can completely believe that. So I just haven't been, I just realized that, I hadn't actually heard what that update was. I guess I should have backed it. So I don't know if I got a Kickstarter notification or something. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were using stamina as resistance, not HP. Some people have started going with the armor as additional hit points. I got my other notes over here. Well, like which one did we end up going with? I got my notes when we were going through all of the way we redesigned a D20. Some people will remember this. Oh, we have okay, we were getting into lethality of weapons as well. Oh, okay. We've already looked at some of this. Let me bring over some of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So if you remember, so instead, what if we use the custom D20? Now we're getting far away from the roll, but this is kind of like the whole Fated Edge system. I think we're still kind of backing into this. So this is somebody who is poor at fighting. We're gonna have to adjust the to hit rolls based on this. But this was the way that we had said, hey, we are poor at fighting. This is the distribution. Is this up on the screen? Yes. Okay. This would be the distribution of that die. Should be 20 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. And then that star, that asterisk was supposed to be an explosion, would allow the die to explode. So that's somebody who's poor at fighting. This is going to require thinking about how to align the to hit rolls. But we came up with this, and this was basically the way that we were looking at this. And I think we liked it. I don't remember. Okay, I'm trying to look at my notes and I don't remember. Like, so that was poor. I believe this is average. So this is average fighting ability, or average with any type of ability was the way that we were looking at this. But in this case, this would be like an attack die. Average would be like 7. You could roll 7 to 15. Like, I wouldn't expect any of our adventuring, well, maybe any of our adventuring classes to be poor. Maybe the wizard is, like, pointing about poor. Maybe that's like a wizard's fight die. Oh, this is going to require some testing. I kind of like it. So our worlds are now kind of merging together. We're kind of working with this fated system. So that's the fight. That could be the wizard's die, because he's poor at fighting. This could be your average ability. This could be something like your semi-martial classes. And then you would start with the martial classes being good. That's probably how I would start to test that, by saying, okay, so this is something like a cleric might have this. This is like a semi-martial class. And then go to the martial class and say they've got a die that goes up to 20. Now I would be interested in running the numbers on, okay, fighters, you need to be able to hit these guys on more than a 70% chance. In fact, you need to get more to what Robert Romano was talking about with the +5, so that if you're all fighters. Now, if you're all wizards and you're trying to stab something with a dagger, well, then I get having a 70% mischance. Well, then I understand. But I was talking about in the context of having the fighters attack. The fighters need to go ahead and be doing some damage. If they're fighting things that are martial-like, then they need to have the potential to get damage back and have the game state changing. So the way we were looking at this, look at this. We had this brief thing that we looked at that was like lethality dice. We had briefly brought that over there. Lethality of weapons. Now, this was lethality of weapons, but this could be, or this could be damage by class. Going from not very lethal up to very lethal. And I don't think this was based on any particular scaling of wounds, but now we have a scaling of wounds because we have some idea about how many hit points the normal man has. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. There's a lot. Titterpig says, I will refer to Phoenix Dawn Command once again. It has a great way to handle damage reduction. Use your base toughness number as a divisor for the enemy damage. In other words, in order to deal 1 wound to you, the enemy's attack has to deal at least 1 above your toughness. So you say you have a toughness of 2, the enemy dealing 5 damage per attack would give you 2 wounds. 5 divided by 2. You got to do division. The extra damage is lost. But if you have a toughness of 3, you would take only 1 wound. I hadn't thought about using divisors. Okay, let's go ahead and put a note to this. Should damage reduction be a divisor? instead of something subtracted. Let me go back up. Okay, I have not read Daggerheart yet. I'm sure we will. We'll probably go over Daggerheart here. Is that out yet? By the way, again, I don't actually even know. I think Daggerheart uses D12 for its main die. Is that at all a better system than D12? Well, potentially, because you just don't. Because we found out when we went through all this math, and the math is actually on the videos before I was on the videos in the channel before I was doing live streams. That it's all about the range of the die it's about the range of the dice versus the range of the modifier. I'm not against randomness, like some people accuse me, but I'm the highly random D20 when you got a modifier of +2. The +2 matters a lot more when you got if you're rolling a D12, and it matter more if you're rolling a D6. Using 2d10 would give you a centered. Oh, this is what Jason's talking about. Jason says using 2d10 will give you a center weighted bell using standard distribution. DRMs will also give you different percentage impacts on different parts than needed to hit. That was how I was originally going to go. Like a long time ago, I thought, okay, I want to build this entirely around a bell curve. But it matters less than you think. What we found out was that it matters less than you think if your range is still big. If the range of the roll compared to the modifier is still big. Wouldn't it be simpler to adjust character ability than customize die results? Maybe. Like, okay, if you're going with the D20, so if you want to use the D20, but you want the character's stats to matter more, you got to use some large modifiers. Like we're going to roll D20 plus 20 or D20 plus 15 or D20 plus 25. And I was trying to not do that. I was trying to collapse them into lower numbers. Yeah, also need to manufacture the dice, which adds something to this. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, that can be done. Of all the things to manufacture, dice, I mean, dice can be done. I've manufactured dice in the past. Vladimir says you can cave this distribution if you use point systems with D10 dice of +1 and plus and minus, where plus is a success in the second distribution. You can I'm not sure I'm understanding. You can cave this distribution if you use pool system with 10 dice of plus and minus, where plus is a success and the second distribution will be 10 dice plus 5. I'm not sure. Yes. Hey, Jan. Look, we got so many new people here. Man, we got new people coming in. Hey, Jan, welcome. Here's to Jan in the chat. Yes, I've looked at, I think this originally started as a 2 dice system. But what I was, well, in some ways, this is 2 dice because it's attack and damage. That's probably not exactly what you're talking about right here. But as BGD will talk about, that I was using multiple dice to compute the hit. I was using multiple dice to compute a hit score before, but rather than having you have to add it up, because this distribution, for example, average ability in something, this distribution can be done using modifiers and I believe 2 different dice. And that's originally how I computed it all. But then rather than using 2 or 3 or more dice or whatever, I collapsed all of the probabilities back down and then applied them to a larger die. It turns out that it was the D20. That was not the goal to like, hey, let's rearrange the D20. It just so happened that's how it ended up. Because this distribution occurs, like if you're average and so this is like a +5, this distribution actually occurs by rolling, like it's kind of like 2d6, take the lowest +5. That's not exactly, we changed it up a little bit, but that was the initial thought that gives you some type of distribution that we started with. Actually, this is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we adjusted it so we have some on the low end as well. Actually, this would be 2d6 take the lowest plus 10, and it gets you this distribution on this side of the 10. And then we changed it so you can roll a little low because we needed more overlap between the different abilities. Yeah, BGD. I you know, I actually was thinking about you, BGD, and I was like, when I thought you might say something like that. That division is not fun for mere mortals to compute when at the table on the fly. Oh, yes, right. Nebus says Daggerheart is 2d12, but each die needs to be a different color. One gives the player a resource, and the other one gives them a DM a resource. You know, actually, I think we did read. Did they put out some? What is the status of Daggerheart's publication? Maybe we did read something like an early PDF of that, because I do remember that 2 different color D20s. Yeah. Jason says, say I need 11 on a 2d20 to hit, plus 1 divided by 1 means 10% difference. Or plus 1, 1. I need 17. Same DRM means only plus 4%. Yeah. Yeah, you can get one-offs, and we probably, I don't have a 3D printer yet. But I can also send stuff out to be like, surely, I don't know much about 3D modeling, but also probably 3D modeling dice isn't all that hard. I would think it's probably getting time to make up some dice to be able to play here. And I can install them into a tabletop simulator. I started working on that a few weeks ago, but got doing something else. Yeah, you know, originally that was, but that's the bell curve. That's yes, I did, but the fate dice doesn't exactly work for this. That was actually one of the original draws of fate. Let's see. BGD says proprietary dice instead of standard polyhedrals are another big disincentive to try and adopt a specific game system, especially if the cost benefit math at the table doesn't scan. Avoid if you can. It's worked for, you know, fate. Nebus says, oh, and Daggerheart crits when you roll the same number on both dice, no matter the number. I'm going to skip down in this a little bit. Oh, yeah, let me put a, it's been a while since I've done that. I've forgotten to do that. Let me put a link to the Ravenkeep Discord server. So if you want to talk, here we go. There we go. Link in the chat. Okay, so it's not released yet. Okay. I figured that would probably hit my feed when it is finally released. Okay, let me scan. Let's talk about a weapon die a bit. I'm just skipped down. We got a lot going on in the chat, which is fantastic this morning. I love it. So many people here and chatting. So we had said something about okay, so this is something about lethality, but this could be damage by class. Looks like, I don't think we had talked about this too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a D6 that we had, and we were like, okay. And I guess here again, this is supposed to be an explosion. So like this is low, medium, high, low, medium, high, extra heavy or something. So this is giving some kind of distribution to the dice. Let's see. This may end up getting too complicated because we were talking about, and I think justifiably, if you're doing damage by class, it's not only damage by class, it's damage by class by type of weapon. Oh, Titterpig just gifted 5 memberships. I saw something come by. Let's take, who got him? Let's see. Sterwin, Mr. Baker, Student, Rodney Hampton, Richard Clinton. Hey, make sure you've turned on, hey, accepting gifts. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Titterpig. BGD says Fate doesn't actually require plus or minus D6s because you can work fine with standard D6s on the fly, but they're nice to have. Yeah, so actually this could too. Like this distribution can also, I mean, I think you're right, but like this distribution could also be done using the D6s by just modifying the faces of a D6 with pips. So that's also an advantage that this can be done with just D6s. At least this part. So I think this could be played with D6s. It might change it up a little bit since we have the negative tail here. But because what you do is you turn the 6 into a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, actually, this is 6, so it's at one point we were using D6s that were 0 to 5. And in that case, it's very easy just to make the 6 a 0, like with a marker or something on a die. And if you're rolling 2D, if you're rolling 2 6-sided dice with sides 0 to 5, take the lowest one and add to a flat number. That can work, but it sure would be nice to just have the die that shows you the number on it. Yes, Titterpig says there's so many new folks here. Let's spread the love. So thank you. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Hey, you know what? Actually, I can give away some too. Let's see. Hey, if you're here and you didn't get a membership and you didn't hit like some kind of button that says, yes, it's okay to, I accept memberships. Let me go over. I need to go over to a different browser window. Let me hit that. Go over to a different browser window. Let's see. Okay, let's do 5. Here we go. You know, when I did the short, I put out the short first to the channel members. Industrial Nerd, Andres de Barbara, Marc's Genre Mixer, Demo Divan, James Midlife Crisis. Hey, let's do it again. Let's do it again. I can give out like 10 per month. And this is already, this is already the 12th. I often forget. There we go. Welcome to everyone who's new. Drudenfuzz. Oh, Drudenfuzz just got one. Don Rossavelli, Frank Avilia, Richard Paulson, Zero Theory. Oh, Zero Theory. It's been a while since we've seen Zero Theory. All right. Fun stuff. Hey, good morning, Brett. You can do that. And you know what dice do that? You know, elder dice. The elder dice do exactly that. Make the symbol a 0. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, in the past I've made like how many sets of proprietary dice have I made? 30, something like that. So dice I have done. But yeah, yeah, you're right that if you're trying to do the zeros, you could just say, hey, elder dice are the way to go, because they even sell we sold the tubes of tubes of D6s that had the symbol on it. And there is a dice giveaway on the horizon. Yes. Okay, so wait, so what would we do here with this is a D6 weapon die, which is a little bit boring. But maybe it works. And maybe you need some additional variety. I mean, I do like the idea that the weapon die are all the same type of die. In this case, a 6-sided die. And if you're basing this off of 6 points of damage kills a normal man, then maybe something like this. Maybe you need something like this, 0 and 1, to be like a punch or an improvised weapon. We're not worried about damage type here. Damage type would be something else. Like this only goes. So what did we say here? 1 and 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, and then okay. Well, then you need to go to one that is 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. Now that doesn't mean that you're always dealing that. I think we need a bigger range than this. Doesn't mean that you're always dealing that because armor is being subtracted from this. So like if you're punching somebody here and they're wearing armor, okay, maybe punching the guy wearing armor isn't really going to be very effective. And here we're also kind of doubling up on the explosion because we've got an explosion marker on the attack die. And I think probably having an explosion marker on only one is probably the best. But that's going to matter mechanically because if they're being rolled separately, do you want a situation where somebody can luck out and hit something rather large, hit a higher defense class or whatever it is target? Maybe you do, because if only the weapon die explodes, if only the weapon die explodes, then you're never going to be able to achieve a hit. It doesn't matter if you could potentially explode the weapon die. If you can't explode the to hit die, they're going to be things that are just forever out of reach of you, even with luck. I'm feeling like this might need to go to D8. It's like that seems like that would be an extremely powerful die right there. This would be like weak, but that's, light, medium, heavy, extra heavy, extreme. So let's see. Hey, later, Jason. We're not going to go for too much longer here. Jason says, yeah, could have these ranges, but heavy weapons roll 2 of these. Yeah, you could do that too. Instead of having to go out to make another die, you could be like, okay, light, medium, heavy, extra heavy, roll 2, and start to combine them. That's not a bad idea. Like, how many of these things do you need? Vladimir says, by the way, the mathematics of weapon dice are D6 divided by 3 minus 1 for the first column, then D6 divided by 3 for the second die. So you can do it without custom, but not pleasant. The third column is D6 divided by 2, and then D6 divided by 2 plus 1 plus 3. I thought we were quoting Fight Club in the comments. Yeah, this one is a bit different. This one, no, these two are different, right? So we had 0 and 1, 0 and 2, but then we do start. I'm feeling like this. So, I have to think about this. Because there's the advantage of just rolling one die, BGD will talk about, instead of having to add dice together because it's faster. And that's because we got the custom dice here. Looking down at the die and just seeing what the number is faster. But you could do greater variability if you needed to with combining, the 3, 4, 5s with the 0 and 1, and rolling both of those. And then I'm also thinking about something like, okay, what if you have like a dragon's bite or something? Like, how are you supposed to compute that? Is it going to be 6 of these dice over here? By the time I'm over here, I feel like that's not a lot of range. Because if you're talking about, 1 to 2 being a light wound, 3 to 4 being medium wound. I mean, you're inflicting a medium wound. Less armor, not including armor. But like if you're throwing this die right here, we need to go up to grievous wounds. We said, 7+ is grievous wounds. Because there are things larger than the normal man, like ogres and things like that, which should be able to take them. Gotta think about this. Might send this to Chat GPT to see what it says. Okay, later, Mike. Michael says, if you have one die for hit skill rolls, like a D10 exploding, it's swingy, but does allow for skill and modifiers to make a serious difference. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, I think we talked about, I think that's kind of even where this started. Like your modifier is large, +5, +10, +15, +20, and then what you're rolling for the random element is like a D4, D5, D6 or something. If my name was Normal Man, I would never become an adventurer. Huh. All right, so that's where. But I think that's kind of how I'm shaping up here. Eventually, we're gonna have to run some tests. It'd be fun to do it with physical dice, though. I mean, you could move this over to a D8 pretty easily. Then you wouldn't be using the D6. From the fun perspective, the D8s are more fun. And you could still have, the 0 and 1, 4 and 4, 1 and 2. And you might get more variety, especially if you're like, let's go up to 8. I mean, over here, according to this scheme, well, it probably is better if they are something, if they're mathematically doing kind of the same thing. Like that's too much right there. Well, and you are getting, because you got, at the moment, this is indicating an explosion. I'm thinking just the other one should explode. Like this is probably too much. Like this die. Yeah. That would be a massive damage die. That's like your dragon die or something right over there. But if you 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, that is still that's quite a die right there. And you're really preventing the person from rolling low. There is no like if you're talking about a D8, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 rather. That die has got an interesting distribution. I mean, that could be a pretty lethal die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 faces. 8 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential results. 1 and 8 up to 5. I'm kind of feeling something like that distribution. That's not obviously here at the poor side. Because you're also adding your attack bonus to this. That's what's going to require some testing and some experimentation. If you pull up your O1 ChatGPT chat from before, it will already be adjusted to run a simulation. Yeah, maybe that's what we do on Sunday. I'm thinking it's time to return, like to feed ChatGPT all of this and see what it says. Yeah. So I think that could be Sunday. Maybe we go back to this on Sunday. Yeah, I want to limit mental. I'm also thinking about my nephews here. So like rolling the die, roll this color die, look at it, and there's your result. Oh, fun. Oh, actually, Michael says fun. D6 have a more stable spin than the D8. All right. Well, all right. I guess that's where we leave it for today. I'm going to go shower and do stuff. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do today. I need some. I'm feeling good. I got some work I got to do, and I feel like I should tackle it, but I might have to actually run out of the house. But all right. So yeah. So probably back to some kind of Chat GPT simulations on Sunday. All right. Later, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Go forth. Be creative. It was great seeing everybody, and welcome to all the new people. This was a wonderful stream. Thank you so much. I will talk with you later. Go get stuff done. Be productive.